Welcome back, friends. You are watching Tactical Enlightenment, featuring our 300 series. All of these episodes that feature our small but powerful force of war veterans face off against foes in a wide variety of scenarios and in ever increasingly more difficult situations.
This is Sparta! We will stand and fight.
Hey there again, friends. Welcome back again to another episode of Tactical Enlightenment. This YouTube channel is dedicated to helping you get better at Bannerlord, also showing you huge battles and giving you the field command necessary to win your own huge battles. We continue again with our 300 series here. This series I came up with probably a couple months ago at the advice of a subscriber who wanted to see what this hardened group of companions I have could do against really large armies. He wanted to basically know, could a stacked army of 300 men really handle an army of 1,500? Well, so far the answer has been a resounding yes, as we've basically smashed everything in our path. Now I want to show characters this time a little closer. This is my main character, Zuvan. You can see he's level 52. He's a very, very potent warrior, and he's got decent leadership, steward, medicine, and engineering skills. Some other characters I have, this is VIII. He's got very strong melee skills. You can see his other stats aren't terrible, but he's basically a beast in battle. His sister, also very strong melee skills, 330 bow, and dumb as a rock. A lot of these characters are dumb as a rock, right? This guy, look at his intelligence, 1, social, but he's a beast in battle, and that's what we need from these guys, right? We don't need them to be philosophers. We need them to kill the enemy. The philosophers can figure it out after we've killed everybody. So also his equipment, he's got a very quick horse, right? He's using the Wadar Hot Blood or whatever it's called. I could use a horse that does more charge damage, but I prefer the speed. Of course, he has elite armor, right? Most of this armor I've acquired over the course of many months of playing. You can't expect to acquire this armor unless you play very deep. And then we have a bunch of different custom weapons that are remnants of his grandfather was a smith and made some pretty good custom weapons. This battle, I want to use a faster axe more. I'm getting more and more comfortable with shorter ranged axes that are faster, and that gives you tremendous initiative advantages on the enemy. So I think I want either Odin's Wrath, or we might try this one right here, 99 swing speed. It's basically lightning at the end of your hands. One of the things I've noticed with combat in Bannerlord is that initiative means a lot. In other words, when someone swings their weapon at you, if you can swing yours back faster, like even if they block you, you have the initiative, you're going to kill people. Other companions, this gal's got a nasty longer axe, and look at her ammunition. She's got 2 different arrow stacks, so she's got the ability to fire arrows for a long time. The reason she's wearing that cloak is so I can identify her on the battlefield. But you see a lot of them, they have 2 or 3 javelins. That gives us a lot of ammunition because in many of our fights, especially like this series, we need to be basically shooting for a long time. So we've got this force of Asurai here. We've got this stacked army. Again, on top of these high-level companions, you can see we have 94 battalion Fiend champs. They're some of the best archers you'll find, and a bunch of other very high-level troops, right? You would never be able to do this with a bunch of peasants or low-level troops. So the Asurai here want to give us a fight. Almost 2,000 Asurai. This should be a very difficult battle, but we've got our fast axe, and into battle we go. Oh, we'll do player damage. Player damage is going to be normal, of course, for this whole series. So this battlefield map, back here, in here, perfect. I've been looking for a choke point to fight a very large force, and this is going to provide exactly what we want. 2,000 Asurai here, a little bit shy of 2,000. Kind of like the actual 300 at Thermopylae. We're going to force them through a narrow path where their greater numbers won't mean much other than to stack their bodies up in a big pile once we destroy them. I've got a nice bit of space here to spread out archer corps. I've got my crossbow I'm going to stick on my right flank, or on my left flank, excuse me, and then my archers, mostly high-level archers on our right. I'll put infantry in the center here, of course. None of this is too complicated, right? We're going to put our hand-to-hand units closer to the enemy. I'm going to have a couple different cavalry units that I'm going to be using to close up that channel from time to time. Right? I don't want the enemy pouring through like my guys are pouring through now. I want them sort of trickling through so that we can kill them 10 at a time instead of 300 guys pouring through on us. And as they come through, it's going to be very simple. We're going to attack them with infantry, unload our bows on them, throw javelins in their neck, and generally cause death and carnage like that. I could start the beheading out here a little bit. We could take out some of their horse archers. Of course, they're going to have plenty of horse archers and these javelin motherfuckers. The Aserai, in my campaign at least, is my most difficult opponent. Like all of the different units or all of the different kingdoms at this stage of the game, they have an amalgamation of different troops. The Aserai in my campaign actually have a lot of Sturgeon territory taken over, so they have a strange mix of different types of troops in their army here. You can see what's going to be confronting the enemy when they come through that gap, right? Just a line of heavy infantry, javelins, heavy cav, and then tons of archers just pounding them. I've got my axe. I'll probably be dismounting very quickly. That guy got a javelin in the throat. And my job, initially at least, is going to be to slow down some of the cav that gets through our nets. Right? I want some of their cav to get in, but not a huge amount. So I'll bring cav up here to sort of counter their charge, sort of bottle them up here. But the big key to this whole battle, of course, is that the enemy has to come through this little tiny narrow channel. All of these archers are shooting. These crossbowmen are shooting. Javelins are just flying. Now I've just sent heavy cav up there to sort of bottle up that group. And they have nowhere to go. They can't get in. If they do get in, of course, they're immediately attacked by savage javelins, high-level companions. I can keep the 8th Corps back as a true reserve unit here, and we can just await these troops await their slaughter here at the bottom of this ravine. This guy's coming in with shields. I don't know how that missed. It went like right through his body. But we just break their shields, right? We just obliterate their shields, kill these guys left and right. So their infantry's starting to filter in here in pretty good numbers. We'll make a little bit more concerted attack. Each time I'm going to bring up more units, right? When I'm attacking, I'll start with the cav unit initially, and then eventually we'll attack with the 1st and 6th. My 1st is right in front of us there. That's the heavy infantry. The 6th is behind it. Behead some people here. You can see how fast this axe is. It's absolutely lightning. I get initiative on every single opponent that I'm attacking. Back up. There you go. It is very short, so you have to be good at understanding where you are in the battlefield, understanding your range. But if used correctly, it's absolutely lethal. We're charging up in here just to push this wave out. We don't want them reforming. Anybody who tries to reform right now, they're going to get mown down. Got shot in the face. These cav over here are bottled up. Before we fall back, we're going to butcher a bunch of these cav. Of course, cavalry, one of the keys to cavalry is them moving. When they're bottled up like that, they're just absolutely dead meat. Horses derive a lot of their value from knocking you over, from trampling you, from their charge damage. And when they're not moving, they're basically toast. These guys are getting a little overzealous here, so we'll pull them back, right? We'll fall back within the friendly confines of our little notch area here. I'm going to use the 3rd cav to provide us a rear guard while we pull back. And then once the rest of us are out, you see their heavy cav is starting to come in. Once the rest of us are out, then we'll have them pull back as well. Using cav like that in a shield wall is really valuable for when you're trying to pull back, trying to reform. You see how much they're absorbing. They're being shot at. Horse are running into them, but that's all. Those are all units that are not getting into where we are. Right? Meanwhile, our archers are still shooting at these guys, just absolutely obliterating them. And now that the rest of our units are out, we can pull this cav unit back too. I've got a really long, fast polearm, and between this and my axe, it feels like a very good combination of weapons. One of them is very lethal and very fast, and then the other one gives me the range I need to hit targets that are further away. There's javelins everywhere, of course, because my units are firing javelins. The 6th Corps here. Looking at these units, a lot of them are already out of javelins. I probably should have been a little bit more judicious with the use there, but I don't think it's going to matter. The enemies barely scratched us here, and we annihilated their vanguard. You see, they can't get initiative on you. When you have a weapon with almost 100 weapon speed, I don't need that spear. When you have a weapon that fast, though, no unit one-on-one can really defeat you. Maybe a very high level lord. And you notice it didn't kill anybody there. That was like 4 hits, didn't kill a single guy, but it's like doing major damage per second. 100 damage here, 90 there, 50 there, and critically again, every enemy that I face, I get the initiative. The screen is just absolutely all green. It's a total massacre. Their units are bottled up, so they're held in place while our archers just have target practice. Lots of javelins now. Their archers are either out of ammo or they're desperate to try to get a shot on us. Of course, they're not going to be able to get a very good shot on us here. You see a few guys are trying to take shots, but they're getting pounded by archery. They're getting thrown javelins in their face. It's very difficult for the enemy to attack us where we are. I almost threw a javelin at my own guy there because he's got Asarai. He's an Asarai unit. Again, archers are trying to come in. They're trying to spread out while they shoot. That's just not going to work for them. They might get a few shots off, but they're going to meet my axe. Now I can have our units move up. At any time I want, of course, I can have infantry charge. It's hard for me to explain how easy this battle is right now tactically. If the enemy comes up, we charge. If they just come to the gate in decent numbers, we're gonna cram the gate and shoot them full of arrows. It's basically checkmate for the enemy. There's no way in hell that this enemy is going to be able to take us down while we're in this pocketed area here. I mean, what were we fighting? 1,900 something in this battle? I feel like we could take on 3,000 or 4,000. I haven't attempted a challenge yet of like a really giant, crazy, absurd number like that, but we may have to at some point in this challenge. Chop these horses down. See, the axe is short, but once you get the range, once you understand what you can hit and what you can't, God, it's just absolutely lethal. Whatever the name of this thing is, it should be named the Blender, because everything that gets near it is just cut to shreds. So if you've got a good amount of horse that are trying to force their way in here, we charge. We send in the 1st, we send in the 6th. These units get tangled up, chopped to pieces. The Blender gets a hold of them, and their body parts go flying. got the 1st Corps over here on the left. That's my heavy infantry unit. I've got the 6th. They still look they're in good shape on the other side. That guy got exploded. I still have the 8th Corps, very high health. The 8th Corps has a lot of very high level knights, mounted units. A lot of those guys have, 300 throwing ability, 300 pole arm, etc. Right? This whole army is packed with lethal troops. There are a few that are like level 20 that are still leveling up, but every battle they get stronger too, right? You can see at the bottom, especially during a heavy enemy surge, these guys are getting all kinds of levels and experience gains and stuff like that. Who's this fucking Chuck Norris here? Fuck this guy. Damn. This one guy. My hat's off to that guy. He still dies, but you can see this axe is just too fast. The enemy has no choice but to do anything but block. They can't attack. The enemy's totally bottled up still. They can't get in. They're trying to reform here. Time to attack this. These guys are totally jumbled up. I don't know if they're stuck on other horses. We can dishonor some of these guys and take them off their knights. Try to set up my units out here in the open now to take advantage of the fact that they're all bottled up here. I think the enemy is mostly annihilated. I'm looking around, and the other thing I think might be happening is the enemy's routing. Let's try to encourage it. We'll have units attack, but these guys are routing. One of the game mechanics that's good for people to understand is that the enemy routes basically based on a death ratio, a kill ratio of their own guys. And your guys, of course, especially in the early part of Bannerlord, will route as well. When you start to lose a lot of troops and your units aren't getting any kills, as what's happening to the enemy right here, right? They'll simply rout. I don't know the exact formula, of course, it's probably pretty complex. But if you're getting a 6, 7, 8, 9 to 1 kill, 10 to 1 kill ratio, the enemy will start to retreat way before their units are killed. Right? They will just say, fuck this shit, we're out of here. And it seems like that's what's happened here. I've given the analogy before that it's a little bit like a casino. You see the people playing those slots. They just look like zombies pushing the button over and over again. Well, that's because they designed those psychologically, right? The casinos, in combination with other very intelligent, sort of sinister people, learn that if you give people, the battle's over here, learn that if you give people a little dopamine hit every so often, what happens is your brain starts to get a chemical addiction to it. It's the same idea behind like the Facebook likes and stuff like that. Our brains are programmed to seek pleasure, and when we experience pleasure in the form of like a casino win, we come back for more. Well, so just like the casino, if you never win, you're going to leave, and that's exactly what happened in this battle. The enemy basically never got a win. Look, they got 3 kills, and we killed 1,200. The enemy had a disastrous day at the casino here, and they walked out the door. This concludes another successful challenge here for these 300 guys. We're going to continue to make this series. I'm actually having a lot of fun trying different scenarios with this hardened group of guys. It's been fun. It's been a fresh challenge compared to my campaign where there's some giant, grueling battles. And a lot of times I'm pitted in very difficult do-or-die situations. I've mentioned it before on the channel. When I'm filming these, at some point or other, I'll try to let the watcher know whether or not this was our first attempt, second attempt, third attempt. Well, this was our first attempt. I'll try not to break the suspense too early for those watching it. But this was our first attempt at this big battle. And as you can see, with that little choke point there, it seems like we could have defeated an unlimited size force. You know, maybe, I don't know, maybe 4 or even 5,000 troops. So at some point or other, we'll redo this battle. We'll try it with even more troops, and we'll see just how many people our Spartans can kill. Thanks again for watching, friends. If you're interested in more of this, just let me know. Please subscribe, leave comments, all that good stuff. I really appreciate it. Thanks, fellas. See you next time.